We are back with the 11th episode of Qapsule. Let's consume, learn, and excel. A digital series dedicated to enrich your understanding about quality concepts at Tata Steel. Today's topic is scope of an audit. An efficient audit process is ensured when both the auditor and auditee are clear on what the audit covers, that is called as its scope. While this sounds simplistic, but if there is a mismatch between the expectations of both the parties, it may create confusion. Hence today we will be discussing in detail as to what is termed as scope of an audit. The audit we are referring to is applicable to all standards pertaining to the domain of quality, environment, health or safety, lab management. The word scope. What do you think? What could possibly be scope of an audit? Number 1. Scope brings clarity on what the audit covers. To get more clarity, one can check the scope of quality management system or integrated management system, or is available and maintained in the quality manual of an organization, division or department. Number 2. It sets boundary or limitations for an auditor or an auditee. The required functions or processes to be audited can be identified by checking the process interaction matrix or as per the process flow. It is important that all critical processes, which may affect the conformity of a product or service, are considered within the scope. Number 3. It decides the depth of an audit that is to be performed. Depth of an audit is decided based on the time and resources that are available and that are required to be invested. Number 4. Some things are included and some things are excluded while defining the scope of an audit. Consider the risks associated with respect to the objectives of the processes. Number 5. Points that are relevant to or is mentioned in the international standards like ISO or IATF also needs to be considered. Check what are the applicable policies and procedures, and audit is pertaining to which domain, for example quality, or environment, or health or safety, or laboratory management, or a combination of these. The better the scope, the better is the audit process. Let's get into the details. What to consider while defining the scope of an audit. As per any international standard, say ISO or IATF, or any other, these 3 points are to be kept in mind. First, all internal and external issues are to be considered. Second, what are the requirements of relevant interested parties? Third, what are the products or services offered by the organization, or a division, or a department, or a section? All the internal and external issues are to be considered, irrespective of whether they are positive or negative. The internal issues can be related to values, culture, knowledge and performance of the organization. On the other hand, the external issues may be political, legal, technological, competitive, market-related, social, geographical, cultural, economical or environmental. Both auditor and auditee need to consider these issues. Auditor from the perspective of an audit, and auditee from the perspective of implementation of quality management system. All the requirements of the relevant interested parties like our customers, government, society and employees including all stakeholders are to be considered. The requirements may be statutory, legal, industry-specific, business sector-related, contractual, customer requirements, customer-specific requirements, or the requirement is mentioned in the standard. Also, while defining the scope, the types of products and services that are offered by an organization, division, department, or a section needs to be accounted for. This may also decide some additional points that needs to be checked or audited. Additionally, check the supporting function that are to be considered. Whether on-site or remote functions are there like design centers, corporate offices, etc. Check whether externally provided processes or outsourced processes are missed or they are a part of process interaction matrix or simply the process flow. Check whether there are justification of points from international standard that organization determines is not applicable. Check that these non-applicable requirements do not affect organization's ability or responsibility to ensure conformity. Check what are permitted exclusions of QMS, automotive QMS, etc. Based on all these points, it is advisable that auditors prepare questionnaire or checklist before conducting an audit. This would help resulting in an efficient audit. The auditees are also required to be prepared for all the mentioned points that are within the scope of their QMS or IMS certification. Hope this episode has clarified what all can be considered while defining the scope of an audit so that it results in conducting a successful audit. You can share your thoughts in the comments section about what you understand as scope of an audit. Do like, share, and stay tuned for future episodes related to auditing.